Woke up this morning, coffee in hand, flipped on the screen, my favorite man. Crafty's on the TV, chipping that stone with Obsidian and Flint. He's in the zone. He's shaping the future with a hit and a crack. Building the legends, ain't no turning back. With every sharp edge, he's teaching the way of the ancients who thrived back in the day. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack. Stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. Underneath those layers of dust and grit, finds the magic every little bit. A sculptor of stories, buried in the ground. Each piece he uncovers wisdom abound. With every collision, the sparks start to fly. As the old world awakens, we question why. He's digging deeper where the shadows play, reviving old crafts that could fade away. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack. Stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. And in this life, we're all just searching for our place in the world, a way to keep working. With the flick of his wrist, he brings forth the light. In every gray morning, he makes it feel right. So gather around, let the stories unfold. Crafty's our guide through the young and the old. With the sun rising high and the day moving on, Crafty carves dreams till the light is all gone. He's shaping the future one step at a time. With every creation, he's keeping the rhyme. From the heartland of Texas to the mountains of green, the legacy lives on through the stonework unseen. With every perspective, he's showing the way. Crafty keeps going, come whatever may. Crafty on the TV, talking that smack. Stone carving dreams, never looking back. From Texas to Vermont, Crafty studies us, chiseling the past, building futures for us. Wielding the hammer, he's steady and strong, crafting a world where we all belong. So here's to the mornings with coffee in hand and Crafty on the screen, the true heart of the land. With a hit and a crack, he's paving the way, through stone and through story. He inspires the day.
Hello, hello. It's that time again. Monday night auction night. Let me check to see what's going on in the chat. Let's see, where am I? All right. Who was first? Matthias was first. It's late for you, Matthias. He's over in Denmark. Robbie Bobby, good evening. I haven't seen you in a while. Maybe you've been lurking. Jim Main is here. Keith is here. Marty's here. Alan is here. Jared. Flixcard. Warning, some rocks will be harmed during this broadcast. Yes, I am going to be abusing and beating some rocks. Yeah. One of these days, could we see your rock stash, Patrick? Yeah, one of these days I'll go into the basement and I'll show you everything. Yeah. Most of my rocks live in my basement now. Yeah. Let's see. Any questions? Any questions yet? No? Jesse Williams, Martin Hill, Yeah, we got some new people, it looks like. Yeah, disclaimer, I'm not responsible for damage to rocks because rocks will be harmed in this making of this video. All right. So the first rock that I'm going to harm is this monstrosity. Although I've got some stuff from Sal, I'll open this up in a little bit. I mean, I'll unwrap that stuff in a little bit. Yeah. I forgot that I was going to nap this on video. Let's see. LXN, bruh, thanks for the heads up. You're welcome. Are you talking to me? All right, so let's see what we got. I have to smack this with something. It looks pretty solid. I'm just going to whittle away at it. Yeah. 13-ounce bopper, solid copper head. I've got other tools that I can use for it, but I'm just going to pound on it with that little bopper. Yeah. It's got some natural cracks in it, so it may just break apart in weird pieces. But this is Harper, Texas Chert. Harper, Texas. Harper. All right, ready? Let's see if that even makes a dent. If not, I'm going to have to nap something else. So yeah, I'm going to abuse this copper bopper. I'm going to put it through its paces and see if it holds up. Oh dang. I don't want to break this stuff down here. That didn't sound too good, but it did not break anything. All right, so this is what that looks like. It actually looks pretty good. Yeah, it's got some concrete in it. It sounds good. It sounds like it's going to be a heat treat. But it looks solid. Yeah. All right, so let's see. Let's break some more off of this. So that overshot, but it looks like that's a cruddy spot. It's a cruddy spot to overshot. Let's see. Oh, dang. We got some natural disasters in here. Yep. There's some natural disastrous looking cracks in there. I might be able to skin some off. Some nice flakes. Some spalls. Large flakes that are nice and thick, we call them spalls. You might say, dude, just, no, bruh, look, you can just preserve that whole side, yeah, and make a big biface out of it, and if it's not 12 inches, just get your Flint stretcher and stretch it. Yeah. No, I'm just going to try to get spalls, okay? I'm not going to try to get no fancy large blades. I'm done with that. I'm done with the fancy large blades, or maybe not fancy, but I'm sick of them. I got to be honest. I got one more piece that I'm going to nap that's big, and that's it. It's a big piece of obsidian. And I've got to set it up to nap on a regular video. Yeah, it's too big to nap on a live stream because this vertical format is very confining. Let's see if I can get some spalls off of this. Yeah, that's okay. What happened there? See, but it's got natural cracks in it. Is this custom made? No, I get these from flintknappingsupplies.com. Excuse me. Flintknappingsupplies.com. Flintknappingsupplies with an S.com. It's solid copper head, and I get a set of 5. Let's see. I've bought this once before, and I liked it, but I gave those away. But yeah, you buy a set of 5 if you're fancy like me. I think they sell them separately too, but this is 13.5 ounce. Yeah, and they're not custom. They make them in batches. All right, let's see. Let's try to get this Nap down. Ooh, that looks like a nice color. But I don't think it's, well, it's got cracks in it, though. That's the only problem. Yeah, it's got problems, you know. That's a Flintknapping term for crud ahead. Danger, Will Robinson. I'm getting spalls, okay? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for spalls. If I can get them. Oh, man, that's a... I can see the cracks in there. It's starting to go. See, it's starting to go right there. Is it going to go? Yes. All right, so these are cruddy pieces. Look at that concrete in there. You can kind of tell that that was not very good because it's got concrete and it's breaking up in these weird areas. Although I might be able to heat treat this. But I'm looking for spalls, okay? Spalls. That's alls. No, nothing fancy. You can't make miracles out of this stuff, although everyone wants to see miracles. I can't do it. I can't do the miracles. Are those premeditated natural disasters? Well, yeah, if you ask the rock, it says, yeah. It meant to do that on purpose so I wouldn't be able to nap it. Yeah. These rocks are sneaky like that. Yeah. They got all kinds of natural disasters in them. I don't know. See, it's got cracks and stuff. It has potential, but I don't know. It's got a crack this way, and then a crack that way, and then a crack here this way, and then there's messes over here. See, it's got this little crack there. So it's not nice. I don't know. This one worries me here, right in the center. And it goes this way. I could just tap on that and see. Although this might be okay on this side. I gotta go slow, okay? So I'm gonna be flipping this around and you're gonna get dizzy like on a merry-go-round. That's an interesting look to it, but it's concrete. See these little patches? They don't nap well when it gets thin. When it's still thick, it naps okay. But when it matters, it messes you up. It matters when it starts to get thin. Yeah. Those little concrete patches don't matter right now, and they look cool, and they might tempt you into saying, oh, that's so cool, man. Look at how beautifully awesome the colors are. When it gets super thin, you're going to be able to sell that for many tons of bucks. No. It doesn't work that way. All right, let's see. There it goes. Voila. Easy, huh? I tapped it right there to try to get the little piece off, and this whole thing cracked. Yeah. But you could tell that it was going to crack there anyway. Right? You could tell. It's got this natural crack in there. See that? It even goes this way. See? Doot, doot. And it went doot, 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 doot. Yeah. It's not supposed to do that. Okay. Let's see. I want to get rid of this mess because even though it looks nice, I don't like it. No, it foretells of impending disaster. That concrete. Although this side's okay. Let's try to skin it to see what's under that. That's not too bad. Oh, there's a crack. You might say, bro, I don't want to see a bunch of cracky doodles. Come on. Come on. It's supposed to be nice. You're supposed to know when the rock is nice. Yeah, you're an expert napper. You're supposed to see what's inside the rock before we do. No, you and I are going to see what's inside the rock together, okay? Because I don't know. I don't know what's in there. I just pick stuff that looks like it's okay. And we never know. Like the saying goes, like a box of chocolates, yeah. This doesn't look good. Unfortunately, this side looks okay. Yeah. It's just this mess over here that's messing me up. The mess is messing me up. Let's see if I can flatten this out and see what we get. Skin off some more. Yeah, this is solid. Okay, so it's good. I scooped it too much though. So I'm going to try to skin this stuff off. Yeah. Which means I need to hit this way. So I'm going to prepare it for that. Get some more weight off the tip, because if I don't, it'll snap in half. Even though these are kind of scooping it a little bit too much, because of the angle on this is not that great. And there's no way for me to make that angle great. Oh well, right through the best part, of course. Yep. See, there's crackages all through there. And there's concrete pockets. This isn't too bad up here on this side. And yeah, I can get some arrowheads out of this stuff. I can even get arrowhead out of that piece I broke off the tip. Was this it? Where was that piece I broke off? This one, I can still use that. Actually, this is a good wood scraper. Yeah. Anyways. I'm going to check the chat in a minute, okay? I just want to I want to see what's in here. I think this is solid. Yeah. Okay. That's a good piece. Let's put this aside. What is in this? This is the other piece that came off earlier. I'm trying to get through here to get to this crack. Yikes. It's nasty. But yeah, you bring all these home. You know, if you find these big rocks, you bring them home and test them out at home. You don't, unless it doesn't matter to the landowner if you break them apart out there. But usually it's a courtesy to just bring it home so you don't have to leave all these flakes on the property where you're finding the stone. And then you break them apart at home and see if it's good. This is okay. I can get something out of that later. This is not. This is all nasty. It's all wonky and nasty. But how do you get points out of stuff like this? Because maybe this is all you can get at a Knapping for free. You raid the garbage pile and this is what you get. Can you use this stuff for arrowheads? Yeah. You just got to kind of suffer through it. And see, you can preserve this top part if you can remove the turtlebacks. But if you're brand new, getting something out of this is an expert level type of situation. It's not for everybody, you know what I mean? It's going to be difficult unless you slab it. I got used to this a long time ago because I would just raid the garbage. But it had cracks in it, yeah. Right there, I could see. The reason why I did that is because I could see a crack in there. So it wasn't any good anyway. Yeah, this is not good. All right, so I separate these into usable and not usable. I'm starting to accumulate a lot of these that I'm going to be putting in boxes to probably give away at the napkins. Yeah. Little bitty flakes that are usable, but they're not that appealing to most nappers. But the new guys, you can sample them and figure out what's what as far as the usable shirts and get used to what's good and what's not good. As far as material quality, the shapes are usually not that great. But you can sample this with a pressure flaker and get used to the material quality. And then heat treat these when you get home and sample them again to see what it's like after heat treating. And you do that enough times and you start to become used to working with it. And you start to become familiar and you say, now I understand it a little bit. Maybe, somewhat, kind of, sort of. At least a little bit more than before. Not totally lost. Yeah, just sample the garbage and then you won't be totally lost. Excuse me while I clean up. That was fun. Yes. Really? No. Okay. What is going on? All right, so this stuff I can toss, right? It might be a little bit, might be a few pieces that are worth it. And yeah, okay. The rest goes in the trash. All right, so where am I in the chat? I mean, what's going on? I'm going to answer some questions. If I see questions, I will answer to the best of my ability. Let's see. Stone Hook. Marty's talking to Stone Hook. Yeah, hit the like button. Or tap the screen twice if you can't find the like button. That makes it like the video. All right. Tommy Taylor's here. We got a bunch of new guys. Hey, Red-Eyed Patriot, our moderator's here. I'm very sick today. I can barely hold my head up. Dang. Hope you recover soon. Rob Sefton. Hey, do you know of anyone who consistently sells good obsidian? Consistently sells good obsidian. Let me see. Craig Ratsit? Right? How do you spell his name? That's a good question. If someone disagrees with me, let me know. Or if someone has a suggestion. I think Craig Ratsit is great for obsidian. Where is my pens? Okay. And he's very consistent. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's his name. That's how you spell his name. Craig Ratsit. Ratsit. It's either one of these. He's on Facebook. But if you need his contact information, you can email me, or someone in the chat might be able to direct you to the proper website, or maybe, I don't know if he has a YouTube channel. I think it's, yeah, I think you find him on Facebook. All right, let's see. There's some guys in the chat that sell it also. But as a professional, if you want to buy like 600 pounds of obsidian, let's say, he's got it. He'll be able to fill any size order up to like 2 tons. Okay? So that's why I mentioned him. I missed the beginning. Is that Texas root beer? What's he napping? No, it's a Harper, Texas chert. Let me write that down too, because it's hard for some people to hear exactly. Harper, Texas chert. And Greg Ratzat is Obsidian. So these are two separate things. These are two separate things, okay? So I'm napping Harper, Texas chert. Harper. Where's Harper, Texas? Don't ask Google. Don't ask me. It's in the heart of Texas chert country. Let's see. What are you using to hit the bottom of it or hit it? Sorry. Okay, I think someone already answered Cindy's question. Ed Gould is here. Let's see. Too bad you can't Magnaflux stone when you first get it to see if it's full of cracks. Yeah, that'd be awesome if you could. I mean, I could probably invest in some fancy equipment and use a radar on it or what, I don't know. X-rays. Let's see. Georgetown, no. It's Harper, Texas chert. Harper, Texas chert. Harper, Texas. Let's see. I've bought high-grade obsidian spalls twice, and both times they were so cracked I wondered if they were either freeze cracks or if whoever spalled them out did not know what they were doing. If they were full of cracks, then that person did not know what he was doing. But Craig Ratzit does know what he's doing. I mean, I met him in person. I wouldn't recommend him unless I bought stuff off him also. If I didn't know for sure, I would not recommend him. Jost says, do you collect your flint from the wild or buy it? Yes. Let's see. Midbar. Looks like rocks I get here in Arizona. Nothing but problems. Yeah, and tougher than woodpecker lips. There you go. Some of it's good, some of it's not when you collect it yourself. But I didn't collect it. A friend of mine collected it and gave me some. My friend Leo gave me this stuff. And now, this is from Al, Blades and Points by SGP. He is in the chat, maybe. Have you obtained a Jedi level of napping 2 pieces at a time? Asks Rob. I wish. What else did I miss? Yeah, big turtle back on it. The End of Fed says, hey, Matthias, did you by any chance used to play a game called DayZ? Used to have a friend in Denmark named Matthias. Haven't heard from him in a while. Interesting. Let's see. Bushy says, okay, Ray says his last name is spelled Ratzat. Okay. This is how you spell it, because Ray sets it straight. R-A, let's see, T-Z-A-T. That's how you spell his last name, Ratzat. R-A-T-Z-A-T. Obsidian. And like I said, he can fill any order up to like 2 tons. Literally 4,000 pounds. Or if you want 4 pounds. That's, he'll do everything. And it's good stuff. He knows his way around the rocks. He's been doing it for forever. Let's see. Yeah, Bushy says, I know Craig. I buy lots from him. See, there you go. Somebody who knows. I'm glad you guys know what's going on in the chat. So I'm not just, so it doesn't seem like I'm just talking out of my, you know what. Alan Cole says, Patrick, can you make a Clovis Colby with the diagonal overshot technology? Oh, I walked right into that one. Sure, yeah, perfect. Rob says, that's a lot of obsidian. Does he own his own personal volcano? No, he's got connections. He just hands his connection buddy like an envelope full of money, and his buddy goes and gets it. Yeah, he supplies a lot of professional nappers, so he's got cash on hand always. But you know this. You guys know all this stuff. Let me see. How long have I been doing this? Asked Chase. I've been doing it since 2011 on YouTube. So what is that? 15 years on YouTube. And if you haven't seen my videos, where you been? I've been doing this for 15 years on YouTube. Let's see. I know some guys are brand new, so you know. I'm joking, I'm kidding. Rob says those big ugly chunks can be used for pecking out molcajetes and other tools, carving petroliths, etc. I don't know. I've tried pecking with flint, and it doesn't work all that great. But yeah, I mean, I suppose. What do you peck with? You just got to find quartzite stones. I find that it's easier to peck with a quartzite than it is to peck with a flint. But I suppose it can be done. Fallen Skater, howdy rock slappers. Good afternoon. For me, it's like evening. I'm in Vermont, so it's evening time. Okay, let's get back to this. Let's get back to what we're supposed to be doing. Because there's a lot of new guys, and they're gonna say stuff like, "Dang, this live stream is just all about chit chat. It's so lame. I mean, you know, you're supposed to not interact with the audience on a audience interaction stream. You're not supposed to. No. Yeah, I know. I've heard it all. But I don't care. I'm going to use the audience interaction option like I'm supposed to use it. Because that's why we have live streams, so we can interact with the audience. I don't care if I lose half the viewers or more. I don't care. If they don't want to participate in a live stream the way it's supposed to be participated in, you can go, you know, take a long walk off a short pier. That's the way I see it. So what is this? This is a piece of heat treat, but it's too long for me. I hate working these. So what am I going to do? Actually, that's pretty strong. I might work that whole piece. Usually that just snaps in half by now. So let's work that whole piece. But anyway, let's unleash the angry chicken on these. What was it? I don't know. There was something written on it. I guess these are heat treats. I read some of them in the beginning of the video. Come on. It's not cooperating. Yeah, the stone flakes are sharp, but they get dull as soon as they touch anything. You didn't know that? Oh, this looks sweet. Sal gave me a bunch of this stuff, and it looks heat treated. Oh, yes. Nice. Okay. Yeah, it is a heat treat. All right. This is a heat treat too, but I don't know. It's a little bit more difficult to work because It's too thin in the middle. All slabs are too thin in the middle. Yeah. All of them. People want to know or to hear what I have to say about knapping these. My main complaint is it's too thin in the middle and it always snaps in the middle. And I was intentionally trying to snap this and it didn't do it. So I am going to try to knap the whole thing. Maybe not on this live stream, but eventually. And I'm going to be checking the chat and see if there's any questions. Because you ask questions now, because I'm going to be starting to knap. And I'm not going to be paying attention to the chat in a little while. Let's see. The blue oval. I got some questions already. Let's see. Marty says, dang, my comments must be blocked. I said Danny Collins about 4 times. Danny Collins sells Obsidian, I guess. Right? I thought Danny was selling mostly Georgia stuff. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Yes. Okay, no Clovis Colby. No Clovis Colby. Okay, the blue oval says one way to make a difference between the 2 good and the 1 that was simply checked in the morning to the interior of my finding is I had a good day to work. I have no idea what that is. What are you talking about there? I have no idea what that is. Let's see. Mr. Jim is here. Patrick, can you make it close? Okay. So I think I answered the questions. Ed Gould, Buffalo River, Root Beer, Obsidian, Keokuk. Okay. So yeah, you can get a lot of different stuff. Danny does have Obsidian. Okay. Sorry about that. I forgot that Danny sells Obsidian. So Danny Collins is also selling Obsidian, and he has a website. Danny Collins has Flintknapping Where's my business cards? Where did they go? I don't know. Right? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I think his website is flintknappingtraditions.com. Or Danny Collins Lithics and Leather. That's another thing that he owns. Let's see. Jim Main says, yep, that's it. Okay, good. Yeah, flintknappingtraditions.com with an S. Traditions with an S at the end. .com. All right, so what do we got from Sal? I'm going to look at all the stuff I got from Sal because I want to be knapping this. Sal is a very generous napper. He does live streams that are awesome. Also, Blades and Points by SGP. Sometimes he shows up in my live streams, in my chats. He's a friend of mine. We nap together in Texas when I go down to Texas to do nap-ins or to attend nap-ins. Yeah. This is an amoeba chert spall or a large flake. Yes. And yeah, we wrap it like this for shipping purposes. Oh, this is going to be sweet. Okay, in case you're wondering why we wrap it like this, because it was shipped to me. Yeah, it's not so that we can suffer on video. What does this say? I couldn't read it before, but let's see. It's a heat treat, yeah, but I don't understand what it says. 73 people watching. Thank you. Thank you for being patient. The 73 people. Danny sells dang good Buffalo River stuff. Yes. Yep. And Danny Collins sent me a big chunk of obsidian. Huge. That I'll be napping on video eventually. I keep teasing about it because I've had that thing for over 6 months, and I've been teasing that I'm supposed to be napping it, and I'm gonna get to it eventually. But I'm trying to set up my camera to film it, and I haven't learned how to use my camera properly, and it always looks stupid. I can't for some reason get the lighting correct unless it's this format. I can get this lighting correct. I just can't get any other lighting format correct. And I've already spent $200 or $300 on lighting. As I just cannot be spending all this money experimenting with different lighting options. Not when I have children. I have got children, and I'd rather spend the money on them than to try to experiment with different lights. So that's why I'm delayed on napping Danny's big old chunk of obsidian. I want to get it on video, in focus, with good lighting, and not be lame about it. Okay? All right. Because, I have to watch my own videos too. I got to review my own videos, and I don't want to be sitting there being all cringe or being crippled by cringe. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to nap this. Yeah. What is it? Let me see if I can spell this right. Texas amoeba chert. Texas amoeba chert. And it's a heat treat. I'm curious to see how it looks. Usually you don't have to heat treat this stuff. But I think Sal heat treated it. So it'd be extra, especially supercalifragilistic. Yes? Oh, it seems like it's going to be good. Oh, yes, it is. It is good. It flakes like crazy. Oh, yes. I got to trim off all this cortex. Get a little idea of what kind of point I can get out of it. Trim it up a little bit, make a little biface. Or a uniface. See, this is the original flake scar. So it's unifacial right now, since this looks like a biface on that side, but it's got the original flake scar on that side. That means it's a uniface right now for you new guys. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if I want to ruin this on video. Because doing this on video increases the risk of failure. But it's so nice that I think I will do it. Just because I think the ease at which this naps makes up for the fact that it's riskier to do this on video. Yeah. I think I will do it. And I'm going to be doing modern tools. I've got natural tools as well, but I only do those on Friday. Yeah. What are natural tools? Pieces of antler. I can nap this with pieces of antler and hammerstones. See, I got hammerstones and grinding stones. But that's Fridays. Okay, today is Monday. It's not Friday. Okay. Yeah. I might, I don't know. I was thinking of incorporating the natural tools every day that I do a live stream, but I started with natural tools when I first started napping because I thought there's no way to be a good napper unless you know how to do napping with natural tools. So I suffered and suffered and suffered. I said, you know what? I think I'm suffering enough because my job is highly stressful. I come back from my job and my kids are begging for stuff and begging for my attention. And I'm trying to release some stress by being a napper, but it's a torturous adventure with the natural tools. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to start using copper. And man, it just makes a whole world of difference. I'm not saying that the natural tools are bad. I'm just saying if you don't, if you're dealing with too much stress, I don't recommend it because they're very hard to use. You can always use them later. Yeah, you can always get yourself some hammerstones and some antler and dabble. You can dabble instead of torturing yourself. Yeah. Anyway, I've used copper, I've used steel, I've used aluminum, I've used brass, bronze, I've used wrought iron, I've used titanium steel. What else have I used? I've used all kinds of stuff for napping. Right now I'm back to copper. Yeah. I've got, 15 years worth of videos. You can go back and see all my old stuff. I haven't deleted any of my old stuff, although I want to, because a lot of it's cringe, for me anyway. But I have not deleted any of my old stuff. So you can go see it, if you want. And I nap with steel, and I nap with aluminum, and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, I do nap with antlers and stones and bones also, when I feel like it. Not because I have to, just when I feel like it. And yeah, I feel like it on Friday nights. So there. All right, so what am I doing? I'm trying to do the initial reduction in bifacing, getting it set up for the final thinning, because there's 2 stages of thinning the way I nap. I've developed a habit of doing this in 2 stages. The first stage is to get it all set up for the second stage of thinning. Yeah. This is the easy part. You change or you turn the rock or the spall or the flake into a biface and do a preliminary thinning, which sets it up for the final thinning or the secondary thinning. I'm not consistent with the way I say it, but if you've watched me long enough, you'll know that it's 2 stages of thinning. The first stage is to get it like this, and the second stage is to get it more thin. Sal did this one. This is not quite as thin. Yeah, the second stage is to get it thin like that. So it'll go from being that thick to about this thick, if I'm lucky. But I'll preserve the size, of course. It won't get this small. Hopefully. Sometimes you never know. There's an accident that might happen that reduces the size a lot. Like the tip can break off. Yeah. If you're a spaz like me, I gotta watch out that I don't break the tip off. Okay. Let's check the chat. So that first stage is over. The easy part's over. I should probably do this one too. I'll save this for a different video. How's that? We're just going to stick this aside and do that on a separate video. Hey, Lee Steinmeier, good evening. Mr. Jim, no injuries, focusing on making bifaces and struggling? Let's see. Rob says, my second daughter napped a spearhead out of ice when she was 4 years old. She used ice chunks as the hammer. Oh, dang. 4 years old, already doing stuff like that? Holy moly. Is she now making jewelry at the age of 14? I don't know. How old is she now? Let's see. I learned to nap using abo tools, but not for any cool reason. I just didn't want to spend the money on modern tools when I had antlers in my garage and creeks full of rocks all around me. I see. Yeah, you're doing the old I'm too broke to nap routine. Yeah. No problem with that. That's not a problem. Mike Mason is here. The highs of success last a long time. The lows of failure only make those highs feel even greater. Yeah. Rob says, you used a railroad spike, whatever kind of steel that is. Yeah, I have used a railroad spike for napping too. Yeah. It's just mild steel, probably. Cap says, I might not get the technical terms, but this is blissfully intoxicating to watch. I am very glad you think so. Blissfully intoxicating is a good way to pronounce, or a good way to categorize it. Yeah, I guess. As a spectator, as a person doing the napping, it can be extremely excruciatingly painful mentally. English is my third language, says Cap. Napping is making it sharp, right? Well, napping is chipping it. Napping means chipping or flaking or causing a fracture. Making it sharp is a whole different deal. And yeah, you're still chipping it to make it sharp, but it's a whole different mindset. Let's see. All right, so is that it? Yeah, that's it. That's all I missed. Mac Bale's evening, folks. Better late than never, I suppose. Hey, Eric's here. Blanco E25. Hey, that's Eric. Good to see everybody. Good to see you, Eric. Let's see who else is here. Lee is here. Lee Steinmeier. Okay, I caught up with the chat. I hope I didn't miss a question. If I missed your question, you'll just have to sit and sulk. Yeah. Because I'm not getting back to the chat for a little while. All right, I'm going to try to thin this to the final thinness. Thin this to the final thinness. And it's a different mindset with these thinning flakes. They had to go past halfway to qualify as a thinning flake. And it's a different mindset because the edges need to be a little bit different as far as being ground down enough. You're using a lot of inward force. Everybody asks, how do I thin it? Because, if I don't thin it, I won't be able to sleep that night. Yeah, not that I sleep well anyway, but I know. People lose sleep over not being able to thin this stuff down. You just got to hit it really hard and break a lot by accident and then get used to the limits of the stone. You cannot be good at thinning unless you know the limits of the stone because you're right on the edge of breaking it with almost every strike. Yeah, believe it or not, that's how aggressive you need to be. You need to be at the point where you're almost breaking it in a bad way with every strike. So it's like living on the edge, as they say. Not only are you napping the edge, but you're living on the edge. right? Does that make sense? And you make mistakes like that because you're forcing the flake inward. It doesn't always work. So you're going to get mistakes. That's just the way it goes. Now, if you want to be perfect about it, you need to grind it down first. It's called flake over grind. And that's a different channel. There are different channels on that. I don't do flake over grind, or I don't do perfect stuff. I do random flaking. And not only is it random, but it's opportunistic. It's the more spastic type of random flaking, where it's opportunistic. There's random flaking where you prepare carefully before each strike. As you can see, I'm just striking. I'm not preparing for each and every strike. Okay? I just knock off all the delicate areas and just go to town opportunistically. Yeah. I don't prepare each area before I strike. Not intentionally. It's incidental, not intentional. Right? So the way that I do it, I think matches a lot of the way they did it back then. A lot of the methods that they used back then. Back in the day, if you look at artifacts, they're all kind of, not all, but most of them are randomly flaked. And not only random, but opportunistically random. Where you get mistakes like this. If you look at artifacts that are not finished, you'll see mistakes like this in their knapping, and like that too. So that tells me that they didn't adequately prepare for each strike. They were using expedient methods. Expedient. And success was often incidental and not intentional. There's a difference. Okay? A lot of the internet culture surrounding Flintknapping wants you to believe that this is a controlled process. It's not a controlled process. It's hit and hope. Hit and hope. You hit it and you hope that where you're directing the force is going to work. You're not controlling the flakes. You may be able to control some of the initial conditions and direct the forces in a controlled way. You can direct the force in a controlled way. But once you hit, the flake's going to do what it's going to do. It's out of your control. Okay? We don't know what's exactly going on in the stone. There's different areas in the stone as far as consistency. It's not all the same. We don't know if there's existing cracks. We don't know if the tool tip is perfectly set up for the kind of flake you want. I mean, it could have little lumps or deposits of dust in there. All these things that are unknown can and do mess you up. You cannot, there's a lot of things that you cannot control after you hit. Everything up until you hit, yeah, you can control that. But the flakes, they're going to do what they're going to do. And you can predict after a while pretty much what they should be doing. But the easiest part of the flake to predict is going to be the middle. It's not going to be the end of the flake or the beginning of the flake, contrary to what you might hear on the internet. The hardest part of the flake to predict is the ending of the flake. The next hardest part to predict is the beginning of the flake. The middle is the easiest part to predict. So that's where, if you have an obstacle, you're going to try to remove that obstacle with the middle of the flake. All right, let's say I've got this mess here. It would be stupid of me to try to shoot a flake from this side all the way over and say, I can get that step fracture with the ending of this flake. I'll just shoot all the way across and the ending of the flake will take care of that. That's a stupid way of doing it because that's the least predictable part of the flake, is the ending. It'd be smarter of you to plan on shooting a flake into this area where that obstacle is in the middle of that flake you're shooting. Not the beginning or the ending, in the middle of the flake that you're going to shoot. So if I wanted to get rid of that step fracture, I would shoot a flake this way so I'd capture that with the middle. Not start on this side and hope it'll end up removing it from a long shot like that. As an example, okay? All right. For you new guys. Some guys think that they can predict every part of the flake, you know, with equal success. No. No. I mean, you can get lucky and a few times, and then you can say, "Oh, now I'm able to predict because I got a success that one time, so now I can do it at all times." No, it doesn't work that way. See, you don't even know what's going to do that. It shouldn't have done that. Now that's weaker now. Every time that bends like that, it makes it weaker. Yeah, I shaved it, or I ground that down thin for some notching I was doing earlier. But these little spatula tools, they are good for picking out some of these step fractures, but it was too thin. Yeah, it's way too thin, unfortunately. But you know, I don't have to keep picking that at that. I was just seeing if it would work, but it's too solid, this one. Anyways, you'll see artifacts that look like this in the archaeological record. Yes. And they didn't care. Now, if I'm going to sell something, I have to care about that because it doesn't sell at all if you have any kind of little goober mistakes in there. Okay? All right. I mean, you can sell it for $2, but not for $20 or whatever. Okay, so in case you're wondering, most guys don't really sell their stuff until they figure out that they can actually make money. And they go, wait a second. Wait, what? Yeah, you can sell it. Really? Yeah, you can sell your stuff. Get a side hustle going. Yeah, it's a pretty common thing, actually, these days, among Flintknappers. I remember it was a little bit different when I first started. Guys were mainly doing it because they liked the hobby. At least the guys I was hanging around with. I didn't hang around with very many professional nappers in the beginning. It was mostly guys that enjoyed the hobby. But as I got into it more, I met more professional nappers that are seriously into, you know, making the kind of points that sell well. I'm saying, okay, so there's a difference. All right, so see that? I was trying to shoot this flake to capture that step fracture, but it got sneaky and didn't do it. Yeah. It was supposed to take care of that step fracture, this flake here, but it didn't do it because it's sneaky. See how it snuck around the backside? It says, I'm going to take it. This flake said, I'm going to take what I want, and I'll get a little bit on the backside of that, but I'll miss the important part. Yeah, because I don't like you. See, it didn't like me. It did that because it didn't like me, and it's mocking me. See that? It went right around where it's supposed to. It's still there. And it goes, heh heh, still there, heh heh. Yeah. Yes, I goof around during the live streams. Okay. Let's take a little bit of a more durable spatula tool and see if I can pick that out by pushing on the front of that. There it is. See, if with it being weaker behind the step fracture, I could push that out. There it goes. You just put your tool on the front side of that step fracture and push. If you have a tool that's strong enough that won't bend. This one's still stubborn up here. Yeah, I'll get that later. So the hard part is this part, is to get the final thinning done, because it gets all messed up. I have to get used to the force going inward, and there's little defects that'll mess you up. See that little quartz pocket? That stopped the flake in both directions here. So I'm going to have to probably make it a little more narrow, a little bit more narrow, and then drive a flake, you know, from these two areas or whatever presents itself. Let's see. Yeah, Lance says a Notch-O-Matic's great at removing step fractures. People are going to say, what? Notch-O-Matic. Ted Snyder makes these, and you can set these up on and put them on a step fracture like this, and then blast them off. But the Notch-O-Matic's got to be at an angle like this, not like this when you knock off a step fracture, because if it's like this, it's going to dive in. It's going to get worse. The Notch-O-Matic has to be shooting upward when you remove a step fracture. If you're shooting it like this, you're going to cause yourself some problems. It's got to be like this. And I don't know how to explain what that angle is except for upward. You have to make sure you're shooting upward. If you're not shooting upward, don't do it. Okay? See, this is the center line. And let's say I align the Notch-O-Matic with the center line. When you hit a step fracture, the Notch-O-Matic has to be upward. The tip has to be upward of the center line when you strike. Okay? It has to be. Or you're going to be asking for trouble. No. You can ask for trouble and still be successful, and you can tell me, yeah, you're just full of BS because I did it. Well, just keep trying it and see how successful you are, and count the numbers of success compared to the numbers of failures. Yeah, don't just do it once and say that I'm full of BS. Just do it many times and see. Yeah. You'll see. Okay. So I'm going to trim the edges because I'm going to be doing another pass of flakes here. And hopefully this next pass is going to thin it down better. Now that I'm a little bit used to the material and I'm getting the feel for it and knowing that it's kind of sneaky and it won't do exactly what I'm hoping it will do. And it does that too because it's a heat treat. It's weaker than it normally is. I mean, it flakes easier, yeah, but it's also weaker. It's probably going to pressure flake really nice. So I'm looking forward to that, but right now I need to thin it down, so I thin it down with percussion. Yes, it takes off bigger flakes than with pressure, with a lot less effort. And you can do this with a bopper. I mean, you can sit there. Some guys are really good at doing this with a bopper. Like, if you want to see that done, just watch Gulf Coast Knapping. He uses a bopper to do this stage, to get it real thin. I don't have the hand-eye coordination to do it. And over the period of 15 years, I realized I don't have the natural hand-eye coordination, the instinctive or the, what do you call it, the innate. I just don't have it. I don't have the innate ability to be accurate with a bopper. Okay, so that is also a consideration when you're trying to figure out how they did it in the past. Not all knappers have the innate ability to knap well. That's part of how they did it in the past. If you see something made crudely, it may not be a lack of experience. It may be because of a lack of innate ability. They just couldn't do it, no matter how long they practiced. Okay? Okay. You probably won't get that perspective from other people on the internet in the napping culture. The internet napping culture is not something to trust. Don't trust it. A lot of those guys are thought experimenters. You talk to the guys that are actually napping. Yeah. All right, so what am I going to do? I have to be more careful about this next pass because I've realized that it's going to get all crackly if I'm not more careful, and try not to remove too much. Make sure all these edges and all the areas are ground down, because you can hit anywhere on there. There's no platform. The platform is on the flake. Okay, platforms are on the flakes, so you can see where it was removed. You can hit anywhere on the edge, anywhere on the edge. Some edges are better than others. Some places are better than others, but you can hit anywhere on the edge, anywhere. Depends on what you want to do. So it's useless to talk about platforms on the edge because you can hit anywhere. Okay? So I call it striking areas or pressure areas. Now, I have to grind down all these areas well. So I like to do it ahead of time so I don't have to keep picking this up, grinding it, putting it down, picking it up, grinding it, putting it down. I end up doing that sometimes, but I try not to do it. Okay? I want to get all my grinding done ahead of time. So I just grind everything, even if it doesn't need it. Yeah, it saves me time and aggravation. All right. Because believe it or not, it aggravates me to have to keep picking that abrader up and grind and put it down and pick it up and put it down. That's aggravating to me. Okay. Yay, we got something going on. It's doing it. Yes. It's just acting kind of weird. All right. And that does have something to do with the heat treatment. It makes it more fragile. Yes. It makes it easier to nap, but you're also going to encounter stuff like that. I don't know what that is. If it's a natural weakness in the stone, or it was caused by the heat treating, or caused by my flaking. I don't know for sure. That's weird. See, that's the ending of the flake. So it's not too bad, but it's just weird. I don't know what's going on there. So I have to think about what I'm going to do with that one. Let's try it. I'm going to try a flake from down here into that area, see if that clears that up at all. Well, yeah, okay. See, I shot a flake from here. Luckily, the ending of the flake actually touched it. So it touched that and finished removing it. Yeah, it was an incomplete ending to that first flake. So I just shot another one to see if it would touch that and get that out of there. Okay, so what else is next? Just opportunistically look to see where it looks bad and then try to remove a flake. Yeah. Hit and hope. Hit it and hope it works. Yeah. Next. Hit it and hope it works. Yes. And I can't predict the ending like I'm saying. Like I said. See this little secondary push? I call them pushes when it does that. Because it's the primary flake is right there. But sometimes you get these secondary areas where it pushes something else. You can't predict those. And I could say that, yeah, I meant to do that, but I'd be lying. I could say, yeah, I meant to do that. Or I predicted that. No. Or I control that. No. It's a lie. All right, so far so good. I hoped it would work, and it did. But I'm being a little more careful about thinking about the force I'm using, about the feel of how it is on the edge, if it's going to make good contact. I think it's going to make good contact for this next flake. And use the minimum amount of force required, because if I don't, if I overkill at this stage, it's going to break because it's starting to get thin. In the beginning stages, I can overkill. Like if it's like this, I can hit it with more force than I think it needs because it's nice and thick. It doesn't matter too much. But as it gets thinner, your range of option as far as the angle of the strike is very limited. The upper limits of the forces you're using are very limited. You can't overkill on this, or you'll break it in half, or right where you're trying to hit. Okay, so everything is a little bit more focused, and then you hope, yes, and then if it doesn't go exactly like you want, then you have to do what I call damage control. All right, so the main part of the flake is in the middle, which is highly predictable, but this ending part, it pushed a little bit more than usual, which is pretty typical of heat treat. So I had to be careful about these secondary pushes. They can actually take some of the opposite edge off as an overshot. So when I'm looking for opportunities, I got to make sure that it's going to stay within a reasonable area. And when I say make sure, that's just an expression. You cannot make sure. You just have to be trying to be aware of what could happen. And if you think that could happen, you take steps to help prevent it from happening if it's a bad thing. If it's a good thing, you take steps to help to ensure that it does happen. That sort of thing. So this side looks pretty good. I'm going to switch to concentrating on making this side look better. Okay? So part of that is moving the edge that way so I can strike. It's already moved pretty much the way I want it to be moved, because I've been striking already on this side. I just struck a bunch of little ones, which moved this edge this way so I can strike this way. This side needs the same kind of deal where I strike off little flakes. So I'm going to do that now. But at the same time, I can get rid of some of the mess. Oops. Not enough. Is it good? Yeah. And even after 15 years of doing this, I still hit and hope. Yeah. It's not guaranteed. There you go. Yeah, I'm still working on this side. Even though it looks good, I'm working on this side because I need to move the edge this way. So I have to take flakes off. So I have to check to see if they're actually behaving. Yeah, I gotta see if the flakes are behaving. And if there's an opportunity to make something look even better, I'll take it. I don't want to cause step fractures at this stage. Now there's a little bit of an issue up here at the tip. I don't know what that is. If that's because of the concrete, or that's just a fluke in the flaking. Fluke with a K, not flute with a T. All right, so let's see. I gotta finish moving the edge that way. very carefully. There's also the issue of incipient cracks. You can install cracks along the edge, and that'll mess you up. How do you not install cracks? By not hitting really, really hard when you don't need to. Sometimes you're going to have to hit really hard, and you'll risk cracking the edge. But those are just risks that you have to take. All right, so same deal. I'm just going to go around and knock off all the weak areas all at once. And then opportunistically take flakes from this side. And I'll check the chat in a minute. If you're new and you just arrived or whatever, and you're wondering why I have not checked the chat, I will in a minute. I've got to focus on doing this if I want it to look good. Okay? All right. So I'm going to do this at random. Whenever I see something that looks good to flake, I'll take it, whichever side that ends up being. The ultimate goal is to get this side looking better, but I need to address this as well. This is weird up here near the tip. Let's see. Let's see. I got fancy new flakers. Let's try that. What is going on with you? I don't know. I might lose the tip because of that weirdness. Yeah. All right, let's see. Let's just trim it a little bit and see. So I'm actually moving the edge this way on both sides, because I eventually have to flake over that area to get under it. See, I have to try to get underneath that mess. I don't know. We'll see. Might not be possible. Yes. It's reduced. Let's take another flake. I can still see a crack in there, but it's reduced quite a bit. I'm just going to trim around it some more, beef up that edge for future flakes, because I'm going to come back and sharpen it. But I don't think it's a major problem anymore. There's still a crack right there, but I think when I come back to it to sharpen it, that won't matter too much. It's really thin right now, so I don't want to mess with it and make it thinner. I can run some more flakes in there, but it would get thinner. I don't want to get it thinner yet. Okay. So let's focus on what we're doing, or let's go back to what we were doing earlier. I got to make this side look nice, because right now it looks too crunchy and what I call flakery. Too flakery and too crunchy. All right. Too step fractury. Anyways, like I said, I'm going to be doing this at random, so I'll be going back and forth from side to side. Wherever I see areas that need to be thinned down on either side, I'll do it. Let's see. It's a little bit tougher than I thought it would be for a heat treat. But it's all right. I will get rid of this mess there, but I'm waiting. Yeah, I'm gonna have to reduce the width. There's no good attack strategy unless I get right up against that. There's no side hits apparent. I can't really hit it from the side, or I don't want to try to hit it from the back side because that's too risky. Anyways, I need to get it thin, so I need to focus on the thinning overall as well. Let's see. So I usually do what's called the worst first. I try to tackle what the worst problem is first. The worst problem is just getting it thinner, and then these little secondary yucky spots, I'll address that as I thin it. The first thing is just getting it thinner. Yeah. Let's switch to a smaller diameter. That was 3/8. Now I'm going to go down to a 5/16. Especially on the tip, I don't want to take a flake that's too big, so I'm using a smaller diameter. That way I can get in there with flakes that look similar to pressure flakes. But they're much easier to remove than a pressure flake when I use percussion. Yeah. And somehow it shocks the piece less. Yeah. When I use indirect percussion. So I'm hoping that would be a nice thinning flake. It did go past halfway, so it was good. Yeah. So just at random, I'll be doing this at random. All right. And I'll probably be switching back and forth from 3/8 to 5/16. Yeah. I need to take a big flake in there somewhere. Yeah, on that side. Oh, let's see. Yeah. There it is. So that one, did that one go all the way there? All the way to that? See, I got to watch that. It's going to sneak up on me one of these times and shoot into an area I don't want. That was good. And then I got to watch that there's no cracks. Since I hit that really hard, there's a chance there was a crack right there. It looks okay. So that's what I'm going to be doing, just looking for opportunities. And I'll come back to this area in a minute. Looking for opportunities to get into this area, but I may have to use pressure flaking to adjust this edge rather than using this. This is not very a very good tool for sculpting the edge. It does remove the weak spots, but it doesn't sculpt the edge in a way that pressure flaking can do it. Pressure flaking can make it much more precise, I guess is the word. I don't know. Pressure flaking can get in there and take care of the stuff that I really need to sculpt to make the edge better for flaking. Okay. All right. What time is it? It's already 10 past 8. I usually end the live stream at 8 o'clock Eastern. I'm going over my time a little bit. I want to get this. Yeah, there's a... See, the crack underneath this little mistake there caused it to become weak when I was pressure flaking it, right? So that's why it looks like that. Which is okay. I'm pretty sure I can get rid of that now with just pressure flaking, actually. I'm right up on that obstacle now. So I could either hit it with a percussion flake or get it with a pressure flake. It flaked a little bit too soon. Anyways, I'm gonna speed this up here. I'm gonna knock back this whole edge. Which is gonna reduce a lot of width. But I need that edge to be really strong for this next series of flakes. So I can finish this thinning stage. Right, so that was the side that was all flakery, and this was the side that looked good. Yep. So it does need to be thinned a little bit more. I can see where I can take off some mass there. But that's it. Right? Right. Yes, yes. A little bit crunchy. Okay, yeah. That's as thin as I want to go. Because it is a heat treat, and if I go any thinner, I think I might snap it. Yeah. All right, well, so we do the ratio. What's the ratio? Well, you get to see. Let's see. What I do is I measure across the widest part and then the thickness at the widest part, and I get the ratio. This is like 44 millimeters wide, and its thickness at that widest part is 5. So that's almost 9 to 1. If it's 6, well, let's see, it's 5 millimeter by, if it was 45, it'd be 9 to 1, but it's like 44. So it's pretty good. It's as thin as I want to go. Yeah, that's it. And then I just sharpen it up and put notches. Yeah. Cool. And that was a good piece of heat treat. Yes. I enjoyed that. Actually. Yeah. All right. So let me check the chat and then I'll say goodnight. It's already time for me to go. I have to make sure I check the auction and announce the winner at 9 p.m. Eastern. Rob Sefton says, that's a beautiful thing. Thank you, thank you. It's a nice feeling on the material as well. Yeah. All right, so let's see. Comparing ages. Mark says, there are a few on the internet that are as good as somebody. Wait a second, what's that? The lighting just went crazy. If not better in cases as the ones long past. Life is so messed up. I wonder each could learn and teach each other. Yeah, they just had to learn everything whenever they had time. There was no structure back in the day. It just everything had to be, sporadic, impulsive, opportunistic, expedient. Yeah. Hey, Ralph's here. Ralph Snyder. Let's see. Rude. I can't pronounce her name. Rudragrik. Yeah, I love this art. I had 2 different knapping sessions from 2 different people. Once I have my own place, I'll make a nice stone axe. Awesome. What size mallet are you using when you're knapping with indirect percussion? This mallet is inch and now you're going to make me think. Inch and a quarter diameter. Ultra high molecular weight plastic, or UHMW plastic. I get it off eBay. Yeah. It weighs 6 ounces and it's 9 inches long. You can also use antler. Those are my two favorites. The ultra high molecular weight plastic and antler are my two favorite mallets. Let's see. Bill Taylor says, hello, I missed your entrance. Let's see. Talking about shipping stuff. Hey, Stacy's here. Rockin' Pops Adventures. Hey, Patrick, when I was a teenager, there was a spinner bait called an H&H spinner bait, and we called it Hit and Hope when we caught fish. Excellent. So it's not a new idea, the Hit and Hope. Nope. Facebook napped some flounder, asparagus, and wild rice. Awesome. Let me see. What is all this? What is all this? Chuck says it looks almost like that rock wave from the strike went all the way across and reverbed back to center and canceled out the energy into the flake, like a wave bouncing back off a wall. Yeah, no, I don't think stone fractures in that way, but it'd be kind of cool if it did, I suppose. But that would make it even more unpredictable, which is not good. Let's see. Blue wine bottles and Jaeger bottle bottoms. Jay Valdez, come on. I don't know what's going on with the chat. Marty Weaver says, have you ever worked with any glass? I'd like to knot the bottom of an old Coke bottles. Yeah, just look up. One of my most popular videos right now is the Clorox bottle bottom napping. You can type in Jack Crafty Clorox bottle bottom, or just skim around and look through my other videos. If you type in Jack Crafty glass, a bunch of my glass videos might pop up. I nap a lot of glass. Mike Mason says, I'm in Illinois, but I hear all the good people go to Brady. I might have to crash the joint. Yes, do so. Crash it. Jay Valdez, anyone going to be at Brady napping in April? Yes, I'll be there. And, a bunch of guys that come and go in the chat will also be there. I'd say a bunch, maybe 3 or 4, including me. Let's see. I'm trying to look through the chat to find questions. So that's what I'm doing right now. We got some internationals in the house. Looks like somebody from Russia. Let's see. Freddie says, thank you, Jack, for your content. You're very welcome. Yeah, Alan Cole says, no diagonal overshot technology tonight, folks. No, never. Does that work better than wood? Yeah, do not use wood for mallets. I know you see other guys using wood for mallets, but it absorbs too much energy for what we do on this channel. What we do on this channel requires very little energy loss. Okay, so use plastic, high impact or high molecular weight plastic, or antler as your mallet, not wood. Okay? I've even used steel pipes. That's how much energy I don't want to lose. Yeah. And if it sounds like I'm being too critical, I apologize. But yeah, just make sure you do not use wood if you want to nap the way I do. All right, so cool. Yep. We'll see you guys later. The next live stream is Wednesday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to see another time, I mean, if you want to make a request, I might change the live stream hours or add another live stream. If I get enough requests, I might add another live stream at a different hour to catch people that are at a certain time, that can only watch at a certain time. Okay, I think that's it. I'm going to call it a night. Okay? Yep, good night, good night. You're welcome, you're welcome. Thanks, Ross. We'll see you next time. I need to get to the auction and check to make sure I see all the bids. Okay, I think that's it. Time flew by quickly tonight. Yeah, but I enjoyed this one here that Sal gave me, and these other pieces that Sal gave me. I'm gonna map these down. I'm gonna put these in the potential auction buy faces. Yeah. And this one for sure, I'm gonna nap this and finish it out for the auction next week. Yeah, not this week. I've already made the items for this week, but next week, yeah. All right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you Wednesday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. All righty. Good night. Bye-bye.